With the release of Poppy Playtime Chapter 4, we wanted to take a look back at the games we've gotten before it, and finally make a video about it. There's a lot hidden in this ongoing game series, and we're going to talk about it all, so grab your favorite plush toy, because we're going through 107 facts about Poppy Playtime. Number 1. Poppy Playtime started as a Kickstarter project, with game director Isaac Christopherson coming up with the idea. He noticed that a lot of indie horror games were being called walking simulators, so Mob Entertainment wanted to shake things up a bit. Their goal was to make something that didn't feel so generic, something that was still thrilling, creepy, and totally unique. Number 2. The Kickstarter launched on September of 2021, however it was cancelled a month later with only $222 pledged towards a $45,000 goal. Well, we all know that that didn't matter in the end because the game launched. Number 3. Poppy Playtime Chapter 1 dropped on October 12th, 2021, kicking off the franchise with its eerie Playtime co-factory and the nightmare fuel that is Huggy Wuggy. Number 4. In the trailer for Chapter 1, a hidden message can be seen that says, Experiment 1006, the prototype. He seems serviceable as the prime example for the type of vessel which we are trying to create. Despite his digestive tract being wired properly, the prototype finds no necessity for sustenance, unlike the others. All other experiments can only survive while subsisting on much larger portions. Number 5. When Chapter 1 was first released, a website was released alongside it, giving visitors the ability to observe the toy factory through cameras reminiscent of the gameplay featured in Five Nights at Freddy's. Number 6. Chapter 1 and later chapters take place in 2005. You are in control of the player, tasked with finding missing employees at Playtime Co. Number 7. Poppy Playtime Chapter 1 is titled A Tight Squeeze, referencing the main antagonist of the chapter, Huggy Wuggy, who's known for his hugging, of course. Number 8. As with lots of vintage toys and toy brands, Huggy Wuggy has his own theme song. The song highlights his hugginess, albeit in a slightly dark manner, with lyrics that say he'll hug you until you pop. Number 9. There's a hidden room within the game's files that is impossible to reach through normal means. What's in the room? Well, the room itself seems to be a doll assembly area featuring a ton of doll heads. You can actually see this room featured in the intro video played at the beginning of the chapter. Number 10. The Make a Friend machine that you kind of run into is a little suspicious. When you activate the machine, you can see that its upper eyelids start to close a bit alongside its eyes following the player character. This one's definitely alive, right? Does it think the player is the suspicious one? Number 11. In the area with the elevator walkways, there's a hidden lemon. There's no way to get to it normally. However, if you modify your game, you're able to reach it. And when you interact with it, you'll hear the following audio play. Limon, limon, limon. Number 12. While you might think that that's all, pressing the lemon too many times will give you a different result. Number 13. During your first encounter with Huggy Wuggy, players are likely to run away in fear the moment he enters the hall. But what if you didn't? Well, no worries, because the player character is actually invincible until they enter the main room. Number 14. Throughout the entirety of Chapter 1, be it his arm or his face, you can actually spot Huggy Wuggy just creeping on you, implying that he's watching you up until your fateful encounter with him later in the chapter. Number 15. In an interview with the New York Times, Zach Bellinger, CEO of Mob Entertainment, said he wanted Huggy Wuggy to feel completely original. His trick to making him terrifying? Just make him massive, bigger than everything else on the screen. Number 16. With all these games featuring deadly animatronics, people would probably assume that Huggy Wuggy's just another one of these animatronics, you know? However, during the ending sequence of Chapter 1, when Huggy Wuggy falls into the void, you can notice that the pipes he hits on the way down are covered in blood, implying that Huggy Wuggy is a living being and not just a living toy. Number 17. Outside of Huggy Wuggy, other toys are featured in Chapter 1 to varying capacities. There's Kissy Missy, who fans called Lovey-Dovey at the time, Brawn the Brontosaurus, Candy Cat, Cat Bee, Boogie Bot, and Poppy Playtime herself. Number 18. Early on, many players assumed that Huggy Wuggy was Experiment 1006, which we now know is the prototype. Chapter 2, which we'll get into in a bit, clears all that up with a tape stating that Huggy Wuggy was Experiment 1170. Number 19. In the main hallway, if you break the invisible barriers of the game, you can find 3 photos photos hiding right underneath with crayon scribbled all over them. They seem to be headshots of people, maybe employees or developers. Number 20. Another thing you can find beyond the barriers of the game is an office space with a bathroom. The bathroom features colored stalls, which match the security code for the door, implying that these stalls were probably a hint the dev team considered using before landing on the toy train. Number 21. A little bit over a half a year later, Poppy Playtime Chapter 2 was released on May 5th, 2022. Number 22. When the teaser for Chapter 2 first released, fans frantically searched the web for clues. The teaser itself used the children's song, The Itsy Bitsy Spider. Those of you that have played Chapter 2 will instantly make the connection to Mommy Longlegs. Number 23. The video of Mommy Longlegs that plays at the beginning of the chapter utilizes a familiar tune, and yeah, that is the melody used for The Itsy Bitsy Spider. Number 24. Chapter 2 is subtitled Fly in a Web, which, you guessed it, is connected to the chapter's main antagonist, Mommy Longlegs, because you know Mommy Longlegs is the spider and the player is obviously the fly that gets trapped in the web. Number 25. Mommy Longlegs is voiced by Elsie Lovelock, who also provided the singing voice for Charlie in the Has-Been Hotel pilot. Number 26. The design of Mommy Longlegs was inspired by the popular Betty Spaghetti toy of yesteryear. You can actually see blueprints of her design that suggest that she was originally supposed to look closer to Betty Spaghetti than what we eventually got in the game. Number 27. Mommy Longlegs' design changed a lot before they got it right. She was originally a button-eyed plush doll, but that was way too cute. Then, developers tried making her hyper-realistic and spider-like, but that was too creepy, even for Playtime Co. Her next version had extending plastic limbs like a lightsaber toy, but it didn't bend properly. And then finally, they simplified her color scheme, gave her stretchy rubber limbs, and made her look like a toy a kid would actually own before getting haunted by it forever. Number 28. The original opening for the game was completely different as well. The chapter starts with you exploring Elliot Ludwig's office, but that wasn't the original plan. In an earlier version, you'd wake up and immediately see Poppy peeking at you from behind a door. She'd lead you through hallways, out to where Huggy Wuggy fell, and into a 10-minute long parkour sequence across catwalks and conveyor belts. Eventually, you'd solve a puzzle, take an elevator, and boom, game station. Sounds cool, but apparently it got cut because chasing Poppy just kind of looked too funny, the intro was way too long, and Mommy Longlegs had zero build-up. Also, this fact is really long, so I'm getting bored listening to it, just like how the developers found the original opening boring as well. So, they scrapped it and added Elliot's office, a Poppy dialogue scene, and a proper kidnapping moment to make the intro creepier and way more cinematic. Number 29. Mommy Longlegs' intro was almost way less creepy. Mommy Longlegs' first cutscene went through a bunch of changes before they got it right. Originally, she just showed up, talked to you, and that was pretty much it. There was no reason to be scared of her. In another version, they kidnapped Poppy, but that still didn't matter because at that point, Poppy wasn't actually important to escaping. So they fixed it all by making Poppy the only one who knows the train code, which means now you actually need her. Then they made Mommy yank Poppy down into an abyss, giving her a terrifying entrance and setting up the whole chapter. Number 30. The game station, the main area for Chapter 2, was used as a means of vetting orphans and seeing if they were compatible to bond with certain toys. Children who failed were never seen again, while the ones who passed were taken to play care. Number 31. In the game station, there's a cardboard cutout of Kissy Missy with a big button that you can press. Pressing this button multiple times will result in Kissy Missy singing a switched up version of the Huggy Wuggy theme song. Number 32. Before the release of Chapter 2, Mob Entertainment had an art contest where lucky contestants were able to get their art featured in the game. You can actually find these pieces of art in Ludwig's office and the game station. Number 33. There were several iterations of the game station before the final version we see in Chapter 2. The first iteration of the game station was huge, way too big to feel like a real place for kids. It had a massive sun and moon mural on the ceiling, but it was completely empty, making it feel more like a weird abandoned warehouse than a fun play area. Number 34. The second version of the game station was brighter and more colorful, but still felt kinda lifeless. So they shrunk the room, added a playground to make it feel like kids actually used it, threw in catwalks for Playtime co-workers, and slapped on some branding to make it feel more like part of the factory. Number 35. Originally, each game in the game station had its own factory room, kinda like the molding room where you make the green grab pack hand. Whack-a-Wuggy had the production room, and Statues had the quality control room. These rooms never made it past concept art because honestly, they just felt like extra fillers that didn't add much to the experience. Number 36. The general rule of thumb for deaths is that if it didn't happen on screen, then there's still a chance that they're still alive, somehow. Huggy Wuggy returned. Because in Chapter 2, there were a lot of hints. Despite falling down an endless abyss, Huggy Wuggy was still alive. This can be seen in the water treatment facility, where you can see what seems to be bloodied blue hair. Number 37. There are posters throughout the chapter that are references to pop culture. One of these posters features Cat Bee and Candy Cat hanging from a tree with text that says, "Hang in there," referencing the Hang in There posters featuring cats. Number 38. Another one of these posters features Mommy Longlegs with text, "Mommy Knows Best," referencing the song Mother Knows Best from Disney's Tangled. Number 39. There are also warning posters for all the dangerous equipment found around the factory. These also seem to serve as foreshadowing for Mommy Longlegs' fate at the end of the chapter. Number 40. Speaking of Mommy Longlegs' fate, the developers planned a much more gruesome death where Mommy Longlegs gets decapitated by the machinery, leaving behind her lifeless body on the ground. Number 41. The animation for Mommy Longlegs' death took developers 4.5 days to animate, which they attribute to trying to balance the look of horror and desperation. On the flip side, her jump scare animation only took them 30 minutes to animate because it was a lot easier for them. Number 42. Kissy Missy, who we learn about in Chapter 1, makes her physical debut in Chapter 2 after only being seen as a poster in Chapter 1. Number 43. When Kissy Missy makes her first appearance, due to her silhouette and walk animation, players can easily mistake her for Huggy Wuggy, which seems intentional on the developer's part because looking into the game's files, you can see that Huggy and Kissy share a walk animation. Number 44. The developers noted that they struggled when trying to animate Kissy Missy as they had to make her adorable yet silent. Number 45. Kissy Missy is thought to be Experiment 1172. Reading the Weekly Checkup 1172 documents in Chapter 4, the subject demonstrates stressed behavior similar to Kissy and marks the experiment for transfer out to the same location as Kissy. Number 46. YouTuber Jacksepticeye makes a cameo appearance as Marcus Brickley, an employee that appears to be giving an eyewitness account in a videotape. Number 47. Filmmaker Eli Roth also makes a cameo appearance in one of the videotapes, playing the CMO of Playtime Co., Jimmy Roth. Number 48. Musical Memory originally looked like a sci-fi lab. Musical Memory's first design was super futuristic, with TV screens covering the walls and robotic arms holding the buttons you needed to press. It looked more like a spaceship than a creepy old toy factory, so they ditched the high-tech stuff, toned it down, and made sure Mommy Longlegs could actually watch you play, which added a whole new layer of psychological horror. Number 49. You can actually hear Mommy Longlegs actively torture and kill Bunzo Bunny and the Huggies after finishing the Musical Memory and Wacko Wuggy challenges. Number 50. During the final chase sequence with Mommy Longlegs, there's a room that you can't normally enter. By modding the game, you can gain access to the room and discover a slew of toys based on the characters in the game. Number 51. Just like in real life, there are toys that Playtime Co. had to recall or not release for various reasons. One of the toys that we discover in the game is Owen the Oven, and let me tell you, the reason behind it not being released are kinda steamy and hot. Owen caused third-degree burns to those that played with it, which could be a reference to how Easy Bake Ovens had a similar problem in the past. Number 52. If you look closely at the Owen the Oven toy, you can see a hidden message written on it that says, "Why do they call it an oven when you of in the cold food of out hot eat the food?" It's a meme that isn't supposed to make any sense. Number 53. Other rejected toy ideas were Kick Me Paul, Push Me Paul, Sir Poops a Lot, Pet Stone, and an orange robot toy that was eventually replaced by Mommy Longlegs, Daisy, Sunny Buddy, and Barrel of Huggies, which kinda like Barrel of Monkeys, but had to be recalled because kids apparently thought they were gummy bears. Number 54. Before they decided on Bunzo Bunny, PJ Pugapillar, and the Mini Huggies, the devs created 6 totally different characters for Chapter 2. Some of these toys were Jolly Clown, Love Bug, Psy Dog, Sunny Buddy, Lily the Frog, and a monster truck. And yes, that is a literal toy monster truck. We almost had that in Poppy Playtime. Number 55. Daisy the Flower was originally the toy lowering toward you in Musical Memory, but they realized she wasn't scary enough, so they tested 7 other toy concepts, including a monkey, a clown, a fox, a princess, a bird, a ballerina, and even a ballerina bird. Eventually, they landed on a bunny with cymbals because, let's be honest, bunnies can be a little creepy, and cymbals crashing together, instant anxiety. After tweaking his colors and outfit, they locked in Bunzo Bunny, and the rest is history. Number 56. PJ Pugapillar was originally a different, less creepy toy. Before PJ Pugapillar, the Statues game was originally going to have a Cassie Cutie Pillar, a giant caterpillar toy with big beady eyes and a pink snout. But Cassie just wasn't scary enough, so they went back to the drawing board and thought, what if we combine two animals into one unholy nightmare? And that's how PJ Pugapillar was born. And fun fact, Cassie actually appears in the Chapter 2 trailer before they scrapped her. Number 57. Early in the chapter, you'll encounter a bunch of slides with some names on the top of them. There's Eddie Ritterman, Leith Pierre, Elliot Ludwig, and Stella Graber. However, there's one name that's missing, and you can see that they've torn their name off and scattered the letters on the floor. Who is it? Comment down below. Number 58. Before we move on to Chapter 3, let's talk about Project Playtime, the Poppy Playtime spin-off that was released on December 12th, 2022. Number 59. Unlike the Poppy Playtime chapters, Project Playtime is a co-op multiplayer game. It features asymmetrical 6 vs 1 gameplay where 6 players act as resource extraction specialists, completing tasks to collect toy parts, whereas the one other player becomes one of the iconic toy antagonists trying to stop the other 6 from finishing the job. Number 60. Project Playtime is considered a prequel to Poppy Playtime, and elements of the lore and characters featured in Project Playtime are considered canon to the main series. Elements that aren't considered canon are the alternate skins that players can use. Number 60. Killy Willy, one of the alternate skins for Huggy Wuggy, isn't canon to Poppy Playtime. However, the character itself was popular due to the Poppy Playtime logic animations by Game Tunes. Mob Entertainment added Killy Willy as a season reward for the Game Pass. Number 62. Some of the other skins available in Project Playtime are pop culture references. There's the Breaking Bad skin that looks like Walter White, the blocky hands that look like they were pulled straight out of Minecraft, and some white gloves that look suspiciously like Mickey Mouse's. What others can you spot? Comment down below to let us know. Number 63. Project Playtime introduces Boxy Boo, a jack-in-a-box-like toy. Boxy Boo is also known as Experiment 1160. Number 64. Boxy Boo was born from Playtime Company's experiments to bring toys to life. Based on the 1966 Surprise Box, it was their first aggressive creation after many failed attempts, revealing that they have a pretty dark history of experimentation. Number 65. Boxy Boo was actually teased in an anniversary video for Poppy Playtime. At the Mob Entertainment offices, drawings of some of the main toys featured in the series can be seen on a whiteboard, and if you look closely at Huggy Wuggy's feet, you can spot a surprise box similar to the one for Boxy Boo. Number 66. The train that players use to escape has a little Easter egg. The front train includes the numbers 9512, which is a reference to James P., the lead character artist and animator at Mob Entertainment, and whose Twitter username is TrainGuy9512. Number 67. In the theater map, the golden Huggy Wuggy statue at the theater entrance is a reference to Five Nights at Freddy's, as it resembles the golden Glamrock Freddy statue in Security Breach. Number 68. The gap between chapters 2 and 3 is currently the biggest between chapter releases, but the reason why isn't super positive. Number 69. 2 teaser trailers for Chapter 3 were released on July 26th and August 6, 2022, with an expected release of winter 2023. However, the project hit a bit of a setback when several developers were laid off due to quote-unquote creative differences, which significantly impacted production. As a result, the chapter was delayed by several weeks, ultimately pushing to its release in January of 2024. Number 70. The developers have stated that Chapter 3 onward will utilize Unreal Engine 5. Chapters 1 and 2 were on Unreal Engine 4. Number 71. Similar to Chapter 2's Kissy Missy cardboard cutout, you can find a Huggy Wuggy cardboard cutout, and if you press the button, Huggy Wuggy can be heard saying, "I'm gonna hug you until you pop," referencing the title and theme song from Chapter 1. Number 72. Funny enough, the Spanish voice line mistranslates the line to "I'll hug you so tight that you'll poop yourself." Number 73. If you look up in the play care section on the way to the school, you can actually spot Kissy Missy waving to you from the uppermost platform. Number 74. An easy to miss detail can be seen in the office. Off in the distance, you can see Catnap run across the room. However, what you don't see is that it's there to grab a lonesome Bunzo bunny. Number 75. A mysterious toy store was initially planned as an explorable area, but it was cut from the final game. The only thing known is that Catnap's shrine was supposed to be inside the store, but was moved elsewhere. Another removed feature was a water attraction where players would ride giant rubber ducks and possibly encounter a toy shark chase sequence. Number 76. Nightmare Catnap, which you see during the red smoke sequence towards the end of the game, was actually going to be way more terrifying had the developers went with some earlier designs, as these designs incorporated human corpses into the body. Number 77. Near the Playcare offices, a catnap plush sits next to a turned-on radio, and if players listen carefully, they'll hear a song composed by CG5, Charlie Green, a popular YouTube musician. CG5 is known for making horror-themed music, including songs for Five Nights at Freddy's, Bendy and the Ink Machine, and Poppy Playtime. Number 78. Inside Home Sweet Home, there is a frame with a hidden message. Quote unquote, "A clap and half to you, we will miss you." This is a tribute to YouTuber MadPat, who was stepping down from hosting The Game Theorist around the time of Chapter 3's release. The phrase, "a clap and a half," references MadPat's teacher's reward system for students who did something well. Number 79. Looking back at the Chapter 3 trailer, you can see that it features several scenes and mechanics that never made it into the final game. The gas mask and flare gun appear in different locations, a cinematic clip showing Dog Day being chased by Catnap was removed, and the slide decorations in Dog Day's chase were replaced with fences. Chapter 3 took 8 months to develop and was originally meant to launch in December 2023, but of course was delayed to January 2024. Number 80. One last thing for Chapter 3, the Miss Delight segment was initially much harder before Mob Entertainment adjusted the difficulty. Early testers complained about how frustrating it was, so the developers made her freeze when looked at, similar to Doctor Who's Weeping Angels. Number 81. A year after Chapter 3, Poppy Playtime Chapter 4 would see the light of day on January 30th, 2025. Number 82. Doughy the Dough Man, a major character in Poppy Playtime Chapter 4, is a shape-shifting creature with a blob-like form. While his design may look random, it appears to have been inspired by Frosty the Snowman, a popular 1950s character known for melting while playing with children. Number 83. Doughy the Dough Man is voiced by Michael Kovac. Kovac is also known for voicing Jax in The Amazing Digital Circus and Brandon in Murder Drones. Number 84. Doughy the Dough Man undergoes multiple transformations through the chapter. In between his friendly form and his monstrous form, there is a brief phase where his teeth turn sharp and red. Additionally, 3 faces emerge from his mouth, each showing a different emotion: kindness, sadness, and anger. This suggests that 3 children are trapped inside him, each expressing a different personality. Number 85. Speaking of the children, a crucial piece of hidden lore involves Doughy's backstory. A document reveals that he was once a child named Matthew Hollard, or rather, one of the children were once Matthew Hollard. Though not the smartest or most physically gifted, he was known for his charisma and kindness. Number 86. Secondly, there is Jack Ayers. Jack was part of group touring Playtime Co. before having a freak accident that caused him to fall into the dough machine, turning him into Doughy. Number 87. Another tape describes how Kevin Barnes, another subject, displayed violent tendencies, raising concerns about his suitability for experimentation. Number 88. The phone number in Doughy the Dough Man's in-game advertisement is a real functioning number. If called, it plays an automated message welcoming customers to Playtime Co. Number 89. One of the scrapped ideas revolves around Doughy. Doughy was meant to give the players a side mission to recover a book titled The Adventures of the Word Wizard. While this quest was cut from the final game, it hints at a deeper story connection to the characters. Number 90. One of the early secrets in Chapter 4 is the encounter with the prototype. Unlike previous encounters, players only see its shadow, as no actual model exists within the game. Number 91. Similar to Huggy Wuggy from Chapter 1, throughout the chapter, Dr. Harley Sawyer's eye appears on factory monitors, serving as a reminder that he is always watching the player's actions. It also adds to this ominous atmosphere of the factory. Number 92. Throughout the Playtime Co. factory, inscriptions in Latin appear in different locations. One notable example is Lud Tempus, which translates to time of play, which is a direct reference to the company's name and mission, Playtime. Number 93. Towards the middle of the chapter, in the freezing section, players can find an extra hand inside a body bag. This hand likely belonged to a previous explorer or employee, hinting that there was something probably gruesome that happened in the past. The presence of the hand implies that others attempted to escape but failed. Number 94. The safe haven, a sanctuary for the toys, was destroyed in an explosion during the events of Chapter 4. Some players were deeply moved by the scene, especially when they noticed 2 plush toys Catnap, and Dog Day lying on the ground holding hands in their final moment. This moment serves as an emotional tribute to what was lost. Number 95. The lemon Easter egg returns and has been in the chapters, we just haven't mentioned it. The lemon is a running joke in the Poppy Playtime series, and developers hide a small yellow lemon in every chapter. This time, however, it's located in the prison beams, and if grabbed, it screams the word lemon. Number 96. Another Easter egg seen throughout Chapter 4 are pet photos. The developers of the game hid personal Easter eggs throughout the factory, including photos of their own cats inside the lockers of the safe haven. Number 97. To prevent boredom, the toys of the safe haven set up a small goalpost and scattered balls around the facility. A nice little detail added was if the player scores a goal, a hidden sound effect plays. Number 98. The original title for the Hour of Joy was titled The Rapture, referencing a mass kidnapping event where all the children in Playcare were taken by the prototype. It's also likely a reference to BioShock, a game that inspired Poppy Playtime, as its underwater city was always called Rapture. Number 99. Throughout Chapter 4, notes written by a girl named Riley can be found. These notes explain that she was turned into Kissy Missy, or rather a failed version. Her experiment number is 1171. Number 100. Although Boxy Boo doesn't appear in Chapter 4, he is referenced in Leithpierre's tapes. Boxy Boo's original purpose was to dispose of factory troublemakers by removing them permanently. Number 101. A disturbing revelation from another tape details the fate of 60 individuals lost to gruesome experiments. Of course, the facility concealed the horrific reality behind their work. Number 102. Towards the end of the chapter, the player discovers a greenhouse filled with poppies. Several theories suggest that these flowers were used to create the red gas that monsters like Catnap exhale to put their victims to sleep. Another theory is that poppies may hold the secret to reviving dead humans, as hinted at in Experiment 8144. Number 103. Using free camera mode, players can also discover a detailed but inaccessible room containing a toy reading a book titled Jeth SS and the Pumpkin Lord. Number 104. Outside of the chapters and the spin-off game, other Poppy projects have either been released or are in the works. Poppy Playtime Forever is a game developed by Mob Entertainment and Jazzwares, released on February 29th, 2024 on the Roblox platform. Unlike the original Poppy Playtime games, which focuses on single-player horror experiences, Forever is a more social and creative take on the franchise. It allows up to 10 players per server and gives users the ability to build their own maps, create custom game modes, and even design unique story-driven experiences within the game. This shift towards user-generated content lets players engage with the Poppy Playtime universe in a whole new way. Number 105. The multiplayer horror game Dark Deceptions, Monsters and Mortals, also known as Scary Pac-Man, introduced a DLC called Poppy Playtime Panic. This expansion brings the eerie world of Poppy Playtime into Monsters and Mortals, featuring a playable stage based on the Playtime Code Toy Factory. The crossover allows players to control characters from both franchises in a tense, horror-themed multiplayer setting. Fans of both games welcomed the collaboration as it blended Poppy Playtime's unsettling atmosphere with Dark Deception's fast-paced gameplay. Number 106. In April 2022, Mob Entertainment partnered with Studio 71 to develop a Poppy Playtime film adaptation aiming to expand the franchise beyond gaming. They reportedly sought horror producer Roy Lee, who's made It and The Ring, for the project. By May 2024, it was confirmed that Legendary Entertainment, along with Angry Films' Don Murphy and Susan Montford, would co-produce the live-action film. While details on the plot and cast remain unknown, the involvement of major studios suggests a large-scale production. And number 107, really strange fact, but in November 2022, Turkey's Ministry of Trade banned Huggy Wuggy plush toys, citing safety concerns and potential negative effects on children's development. The decision sparked debate among parents and regulators. And that's all for 107 facts about Poppy Playtime. The lore behind Poppy is intense and immense, and this video barely scratches the surface. If you want a more in-depth look at Poppy Playtime, let us know in the comments below, because you could write so many videos on this. Thank you for watching the Leaderboard, your home for video game facts. See you next time.